What's up, y'all? It's your girl Amanda, and we are back with another episode of Thompson and Stuff. So, we are in the beginning of June. I just cannot believe that we are almost halfway through 2025. Like, Miss Mama's has somewhere to go, and she didn't want to stay long. She just wanted to grab a plate and go. As always, I want to thank you guys so much for all the support. So, I put out a couple episodes about a couple weeks ago. It was just some review episodes. And if you did listen to them, I really wanted to apologize for the quality of them. I had a chance to go back to listen to them. And me personally, I didn't like the quality of it. And it's entirely on me because I call myself saving a couple dollars. And so I bought like the iPhone headphone dupes, like the fake ones from Amazon. That's like $13. So I said, "Oh snap! Okay, it's $13. We get a 2 pack. Save a little coin because if you go to like the Apple store, at the Apple store, the headphones are like $20, and that's for one pair in the little square box." So I was like, "Oh snap! I'm saving a little coin. I got 2 pair of headphones. Blah blah blah." So I record the episode. I think it was the I forgot which one, so don't hold it, charge it to my head and not to my heart. But yeah, I recorded them and I went back and I listened to like the recordings. They just sounded so terrible. And then I went and I looked at the fake Apple headphones, and turns out like the wires were exposed, and then like I had the little microphone rectangle on them, and turns out that the wires was coming out of the little rectangle, so that's why the quality of those videos are the way they are. But if you guys want me to record them, please let me know. I still do have like the notes and stuff in a notebook, so all I gotta do is just delete those videos and re-record them. As you guys know, I also normally record with Riverside, but I've been having some issues with them because I'm using the free Riverside stuff, so it's like you're very limited on stuff. Like, they only allow like 2 hours worth of stuff. But for me, right now I'm using Sound Recorder on one of my laptops, and I think I like this much better. All I have to do is just upload the file to Spotify for creators, and I take it from there. Every platform will still get like their copy, quote unquote copy. You'll still find me on your favorite podcast platforms, still be on YouTube, but it'll just be recorded on my computer and not through Riverside. Riverside is an app, like a third party recording thing, but it just hasn't been really working out for me. So let's get into my notes here. So we just got over some holidays. The first holiday was Mother's Day. I have not been a real big fan of Mother's Day. I lost my auntie on Mother's Day of 2016. So Mother's Day is kind of like more so a quiet holiday for me and my family. I mean, we'll still acknowledge it, like, oh, hey, happy Mother's Day, all that stuff, but we don't really like, do a full blown celebration because that tragic memory was still, like, it still hovers over us. So we just decided to keep it real quiet. Spent time with my grandmother and my mother. I did get my mom a gift just for, the holiday. And then also we just finished Memorial Day, the first barbecue holiday of the summer, which, well, that means the summer is coming. But the summer actually does not start until like June 22nd, I believe. So I've just been relaxing since those holidays. And also, I am starting to watch BMF, so the Black Mafia family, starring Lil Meech and Da Vinci. Now, I don't know why I waited till like the final season to actually get into this show, which is crazy to me. The final season 4 actually starts tomorrow because today's Thursday. It starts tomorrow. I will definitely be doing I'll be definitely doing a season prediction like I did. One of the videos I recorded, now that I mentioned season prediction, was The Shy. So I did a prediction video for The Shy. So I'll definitely do one for BMF as well. And that will probably come out like the next week or so. And if you guys don't know my prediction videos, what I do is I, write out all the characters. I write out my prediction. I let the season run. And once I finish the full season, I write down what actually happens and my opinions. So let's get into some more stories here. I want to say rest in peace to Nico McKnight, who is the son of Brian McKnight. And in this situation, it showed me why I am still fuck Brian McKnight. Because this was his son from his first marriage to his wife, Julie. Nico passed away of, I believe, colon cancer. And, you know, I I expected Brian to release a statement that said, rest in peace to my son. I love him so much, blah, blah, blah. That was the statement I was expecting his publicist or him to release. No, truth is that he released a statement, but he was actually shaming his brother, Claude, which I didn't know he had a brother named Claude. And then he just was saying what he was doing and going to Hawaii, having his own memorial, and he offered his son and his wife help for treatment and blah 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 blah. Basically, I just did not like that statement. To avoid more like public scrutiny, all Brian McKnight had to do was say, I love my son. I miss my son. Thank you for all your thoughts and prayers. That's it. But no, he had to do the most. And that's why I say fuck Brian McKnight. Seriously, because you should not do that to the death of your own child. I'm sorry. Even when I listen to Let It Snow during Christmas time, you know what I do? I listen to the Boys to Men's part, but I always fast forward through Brian McKnight's part. That's how much I just strongly dislike, because you can't say hate. I strongly dislike Brian McKnight. And I was looking through Brian McKnight's Instagram comments, and someone said there's a special place in hell for your black ass. I could not agree more. I was just so disappointed in how Brian McKnight handled the passing of his son. But I do want to send my heart and my condolences to Nico McKnight's family, excluding Brian, to his mom. He had other siblings as well, because again, his mom was Brian McKnight's first wife. Also, rest in peace to Ronald Fenty, who is the father of Rihanna. He actually passed away in LA due to a brief illness. So my heart also goes out to her as well. Yo Gotti and Angela Simmons have split, which does not surprise me, because I know Yo Gotti had a crush on Angela, and then they finally got together, and people are like, oh, that's the nice way of manifestation. That is so cool, blah, blah, blah. They were probably together for like a couple years, and then they split up. And you know what? I'm glad Angela left Yo Gotti, because after all that stuff came out about Young Dolph's murder, she had to get away. She had to get away. That's too heavy. She also has a young child. Like, she had to get away from all that. So, she could find someone better, honestly. Like, someone who's, about his money, about his job, and not about the street stuff. I mean, there's a lot of girls and women out there that wants the thug or the bad boy. But, also, well, how can I say? Because I'm actually one of them. But I don't really mess with the bad boys anymore. Well, of course, I'm not single, but y'all know what I mean. It's because you just cannot take the amounts of pressure and what they're doing. And, y'all, I got a good man, by the way. And that's what I want for Angela Simmons. To find a good man, a good family man, because, again, she does have a child. The child's father did pass away. So she just needs someone to, hold her down and just not be about that street stuff. And then also Yo Gotti is like, his name was dropped in the hit, well, it was like a hit, but the murder of Young Dolph. So she doesn't need to be a part of that. She's Reverend Child. She's a preacher's kid. Like, she doesn't really need that in her life. Well, let me get my highlighter, because I don't want to sound like I'm like all over the place here. I did talk about starting BMF, all that stuff. Speaking of Rihanna, after rest in peace to her father, she is actually pregnant with her third baby. So, congratulations to her as well. She actually debuted her baby bump at the Met Gala. And you know what? I honestly hope it's a girl this time, because it would be so cute. She has their two older boys and a girl. that family would be just so complete. Honestly, it's just so cute, and I just hope like she has a lot of love with her and stuff during this time. Plus, you're pregnant and you lose your dad. Like, it's that's just terrible. And I just hope ASAP Rocky just really puts his arms around her and holds her down and stuff. I'll Be Sure has a new book coming out, and it says Diddy. Well, he says that Diddy caused his liver failure. Honestly, if you told me this about maybe 3 or 4 months ago before the Diddy trial, I would be like, no, he's just saying that to attack Diddy. Diddy's going through what he's going through, and I think Al is just adding to the fire of what Diddy is going through. But after listening to like all this stuff about Diddy and what's going on and how he just went through life, I just would not be surprised. I'm not calling Al a liar. He might be on to something, honestly. He might be on to something. I will definitely be checking out Al B. Sure's new book. Y'all gotta remember, like, Al B. Sure was that guy in the music industry back in, like, the early 90s. Like, Night and Day was, like, a big hit, and then he had Off on Your Own. But then after that, I don't recall hearing about any music or anything like that. But he was a big act back in the day, and I think he was on Uptown Records because he used to sing. He was the voice that sang "Found Somebody Who Loves Me for Me, Happy Happy" on the Heavy E song. That's Al B. Sure. Bet y'all didn't know that. And speaking of Diddy, he also Diddy says that he's a swinger and was into voyeurism. The thing is, Diddy, real swingers and people who are into voyeurism, they don't announce that they're swingers and into voyeurism because they don't bring that part of their life into into the forefront where people of the public would know. See, I watch a lot of movies. I don't really know any swingers in real life, but I'm just going off of what I see in the movies that swingers have these parties and they're like top secret parties. Like nobody really knows about them and they're like on the hush hush, and then once you come in and you find out what they're really about, I bet it's really like that in real life. And Diddy, don't nobody tell nobody that they're into swinging. And also you guys know that the Diddy trial actually has started. And what I'm doing is I'm just making quick notes about each day in the Diddy trial. So I didn't take any notes for yesterday. I got to find some notes. But we are about in the fourth week of the Diddy trial. So for day one, week one, he pleads not guilty. They had the opening statements and stuff. Diddy's family was there, his mom was there, his kids were there, and people were going back and forth saying, "Why were his kids there? What are they doing here? Why?" Until it was real that once they started really getting into like the details of Diddy's swinger and voyeurism, the daughters had to like walk out and stuff. And I do agree with people that they don't really need to be there to hear about their dad's like bedroom actions, if you will. So I do agree, but his sons were there, the daughters were there, his mom, all front and center to hear all of that. Let's see. Dana Tran was there, and Dana Tran is the youngest daughter's mother. I don't know why she would be there, because I don't think they were actually, her and Diddy were actually boyfriend and girlfriend, but she did have a baby by him. Um, so again, I'm just taking quick notes because it's all over the place of what happened in court. The personalities that are really helping me keep up with the events is Lauren LaRosa. She's from the Breakfast Club. Armand Wiggins. I didn't know who Armand really was. I heard of him because, well, let me back up. I've heard his name before, and I've kind of seen about him. I think he was the guy that replaced Funky Dineva after Funky Dineva left Fox Soul, and then unfortunately TGI Friday, that's the show they were on, they got fired and whatnot. Also, I want to send a shout out to Jim Chapman. He has the documentary, the podcast. What is it called? Expose the Scandalous Files of the Elite. Every day Jim Chapman puts out an episode of what happened in court, what he's heard, and he'll like record an episode weekly or daily or whichever. He puts out a lot of episodes basically, so he's been helping me keep up. Also, the court transcripts are on Twitter. I forgot the handle's name that was on Twitter, who has it. And then, oh, another one of the sex workers they hired was falling in love with Cassie, which I also thought was bizarre. And then we go into day 2, Tuesday, week 1. That graphic video of Diddy beating Cassie came out, but they also extended they released the extended version of it, where the hotel security guy was seen in the video. Day 3, it went into more detail about the freak offs that uh, Diddy and Cassie had. Like Cassie talked about how she had UTI so bad that the antibiotics didn't work that was prescribed to her, which is just awful and very uncomfortable. Also, I just cannot imagine how Cassie felt. Like, having that bad of a UTI is so uncomfortable. Having a UTI in general is very uncomfortable. And you know what's also uncomfortable? Like getting body wash in your urethra, and that even burns. Like, that is so uncomfortable. Um, they also covered that Diddy raped Cassie in her home and he left. She had the UTIs. They used Craigslist and Backpage for prostitutes, and that was during the time where a lot of people were selling their bodies on the internet that way, before like the real boom of social media. Cassie took the stand. She told it all, and I am so proud of her because I think she's bringing awareness for other women to even come forward with their abuse. She talked about her $20 million settlement. She talked about how Diddy threatened to blow up Kid Cudi. Well, he didn't threaten, he actually did. How he blew up Kid Cudi's car. And Cassie also says she did it to she did the freak offs to spend time with Diddy, which is sad. And honestly, if a man forces you, and I've been hearing this a long time and I'm starting to really understand it, I've always been told if a man forces you to do something that you don't want to do, that's not love, honestly. And I'm just so sad that Cassie had to live that type of relationship with Diddy. Diddy said he loved Cassie, but honestly, he did not. And I'm not coming from a mean place to say this, but what Diddy did, like, was not out of love. It was just out of him being a bully. Like, I heard someone say that Diddy was bullied and then he turned around to be a bully. And I don't see how he could have got like some sort of therapy or whatever, but no, he had to turn around and just be a bully to people who really cared about him. Like, Cassie really loved him and cared about him, but he was just a bully. And I can't believe that. Let's see. And day 3, they also have video of her husband Alex Klein leaving court, and he looked so upset. And I don't blame him. Hearing all that stuff that your wife went through, and her having to relive that, no, that's just not okay. Day 4 of week 1, we learned that Diddy overdosed on opioids. Y'all want to know what's crazy? So when I be watching YouTube randomly on TV, right? And y'all know how like the algorithm be so random. So my algorithm be so random. I see like old Diddy interviews with like Charlie Rose and him getting ready for the VMAs back in 1997. Diddy on there, like back in the late 90s, he seemed like he was the coolest, chillest guy ever. Like, he wasn't all over the place. He was very like, he seemed like he was soft spoken, like all that stuff. And I sit and I watch those videos. I'm like, man, what happened? But now that this overdose was revealed, this man was definitely on some drugs. He was definitely on some drugs. And overdosing on opioids, like what kind of opioids? It's just crazy. Crazy that, someone, I did read in a comment on one of the videos that he did get consumed by like the the entertainment industry. And the entertainment industry has told us time and time again that they're evil. They're evil. Like, come on. I just can't believe it. Um, Cassie was having freak offs while dating Kid Cudi. I think she was just trying to get out, but playing the game but trying to get out. That's what I want to call it. Playing the game but trying to get out. And also Cassie, well, this was like day 2 of Cassie being on the stand, and Cassie said that Diddy um, would blackmail her and say that he'll release the videos of her doing the freak offs. But my question is, during that time, was revenge porn, like that's revenge porn, and revenge porn is very illegal today in 2025. What year did revenge porn become illegal? Because it should have been illegal back then too, because they were together a long time, like a long time. And I can't believe that there was revenge porn is just now becoming a law. So, and then there's day 5 of week 1. It was Cassie's last day testifying. You know what's really messed up about all this is that Cassie was pregnant. I don't understand why Cassie had to go on the stand and she was super pregnant. You know, all this could have been done through Zoom. Why did she have to come in and she's like really pregnant, about to give birth at any time? I didn't understand that. But day 5, week 1 is Cassie's last day of testifying. It was revealed that she was it was revealed that she is actually getting $10 million from the hotel, because of the video. You know what? Get your money, Cassie, because that was a violation of privacy. That the hotel kind of, did that video that way. But it was also revealed she sent "I'm lost without you" text, and also revealed that the possibility of Diddy being bipolar. I think Diddy is bipolar. He has some sort of mental issue, and also it also tags on with the drugs. That's what I think. Bipolarism and the drugs. And then also Don Richard. Now, you guys got to understand, I didn't really, there's no camera in the courtroom, right? I didn't watch TV, on the, like, there is, what is it called? The Law and Order channel on YouTube. They have their camera people sit outside the courtroom. But the thing is, I didn't have time to sit and watch that whole thing where they get, updates and stuff as soon as, they hear something. This is just notes of what I heard on the Jim Chapman podcast, what I heard on TMZ. So if it's not the full thing, so bear with me, y'all. So Don Richard, she got on the stand, but the way that TMZ made it feel like that, they asked Don Richard a couple questions, and then they said, okay, court is adjourned for the week. And then we move into week 2, day 1. Let's see. So Don Richard takes the stand. She mentioned how Diddy would make people disappear if he didn't get his way, which is also known as an adult tantrum. She witnessed some of Cassie's abuse. And it was also revealed that baby oil, cash, drugs were in his hotel room the day he was arrested, because actually TMZ had the photos of those, which absolutely shocked me. Why would he be carrying around drugs like that? Why would he be carrying around cash like that? That just shocked the hell out of me. Also, it was revealed that Dawn reached out to work for Diddy. I guess because her time in the music industry kind of came to a halt, and when she was hot, she was working with Diddy and all that stuff. And then there was a video today that I saw on Instagram that she called Diddy forever the homie. I don't understand why the tone has changed when it came to this trial. The interview probably looked about 5 years old. They're probably back from her dirty money days or whatever. So I'm kind of confused about that too. Also, outside of the trial, I was reading the U.S. Sun, which is a website. It's basically like a tabloid website. There was an interview with B5. Now, I went to go see B5 in concert a while back, and they did a pretty good job. And B5 did a interview with the Sun, and they talked about their experience working with Diddy, how one of the members got yelled at by a Diddy for no reason, and he was a child. And I thought that that was so sad. And that just helped me confirm that even if you're a child star working with Diddy, you would catch that heat too. Also, Carrie Morgan, who was a former friend of Cassie, testified, and she said that Diddy assaulted her, and that's what made her no longer become friends with Cassie. Oh, here's some more. Let's see. Oh, also found in the raid was AR-15s, and it also came out that Cassie's mom gave Diddy $20,000. Her name is Regina. And why would Diddy make her mom give them money? That really makes no sense to me. And then also his ex-employer George Kaplan, he explained how he had to set up the freak offs, which would be a horrifying job. More hotel room videos and the Miami video photos were revealed. And then they also had to have a nerve to have, like, if you're like house shopping, and y'all know how like people would set up, like the real estate agents, they'll set up like these videos that'll do like drone video of the property, not inside, just the outside. And they were releasing videos of drone video of Diddy's house in Miami, which I didn't understand why. And it was kind of like creepy to watch because all of what could have went down in that home. And y'all know I was listening. No, I wasn't really listening. Maybe I was. Like, I think it was before the trial. You know, the Bad Boys for Life song. One lyric stood out to me. I'm the definition of half man, half drugs. I'm the definition of half man, half drugs. That is very telling. That is very telling. And I don't know how we were jamming to that song back in the 2000s and we kind of missed that lyric. Ain't that something? That's insane. So we're on Thursday, week 2. So Kid Cudi, he takes the stand, right? I didn't like the way Kid Cudi came dressed for court. He had on a white t-shirt and jeans. He was basically dressed like Fonzie. And he took the stand, you know, basically saying how Cassie was playing him, and Diddy, blew up his blew up his car, and then they had a conversation, and once they shook hands, Cudi asked Diddy, "Hey, what about my car?" And Diddy was like, "I don't know what you're talking about." I'm like, "Oh, Diddy, you so foul. You so foul." And they did show the Porsche photo, the damage of the photos. So there was like a hole at the top of the convertible. It was a convertible, so like that convertible cloth top, it was a hole. And I saw like a lot of black ash in like the front seats. And I think the convertible had like red guts, which if you don't work in the car industry, red guts is red interior. The car had like red, oranges guts. He dropped a monologue cocktail. I think that's what it's called. And the way I asked my brother what it was because I wasn't sure, and then he was like, "You play Grand Theft Auto, don't you?" I was like, "Yeah, I've only played a little bit of San Andreas, and I beat Grand Theft Auto 5." So I think he's probably referring to Grand Theft Auto 5, where you take like a can or something in it, and you light a towel on fire, you throw it at the car. I don't know, but he did that to Cudi's Porsche. And also, Diddy broke in his house, unwrapped his gifts, and messed with his dog. Now, those two were just unnecessary. Diddy could have just broken the house and stole something valuable. But no, you had to unwrap his Christmas gifts and mess with his dog. That's not right. Overall, breaking in somebody's house is not right. But messing with somebody's dog and unwrapping gifts, that's just doing too much. That's just doing too much. So week 2, that Friday, I don't think there was court. I didn't really hear anything about it because the Monday was Memorial Day. So I guess they kind of gave the jurors like a 3-day week, a 4-day weekend, if you will. But I did listen to an interview with Q, Aubrey O'Day, TJ, and Amy. You know, that couple from, I think, Good Morning America who had an affair and they lost their jobs because of it or whatever. So Q did an interview with them, and he said that he was drugged. His mom was there in the interview as well. And now that really makes sense to me because I remember the Making the Band season where Q did kind of change from like being his happy self, and then he was just being like not mentally okay. I remember that, and I just didn't understand because I was like 14 at the time, but I didn't understand, and now I completely understand after Q got to tell his truth on the TJ and Amy podcast. Well, it wasn't TJ and Amy's podcast. It was more so Aubrey's podcast, but it was like under the TJ and Amy umbrella. So week 3, Monday, no court. No court because of Memorial Day, but it did come out that Diddy wanted to nix Kid Cudi's story. I guess to save his own butt, but that's not possible because there is photos of a damaged Porsche, so a damaged Porsche, if you will. So no, that's not happening. Tuesday, week 3, Capricorn Clark took the stand. She's the former assistant. Also, what was revealed in that court document was she is BFFs with Suge Knight's ex, who is Stormy. Now, I know of Stormy because I actually read her memoir. It's available on Amazon Prime. It was a Kindle. It was a pretty good read. Like, she got to tell her story with how she met Suge Knight and their time together and her life after Suge Knight. How she moved to Vegas and all that good stuff. I think she's the mother to Suge Jacob Knight. I think that's Suge Jacob Knight's mother because she had 2 boys by him. So she's Capricorn is BFFs with Stormy, and she was also threatened to be thrown into the river if she failed like some sort of lie detector test, which I think is insane. That is a death threat either way, and that is super illegal. The lie detector test was connected to some missing jewelry, and she details more about him breaking into Kid Cudi's house. And then Deontay Nash, who was a stylist, he came on the stand Wednesday, week 3. He talked about how Cassie's career was always threatened. He talked about how Cassie was bleeding after Diddy assaulted her, and talked about the nicknames that Diddy gave Cassie, which I liked the first 2, Baby Girl and Cece. Very relationship appropriate, right? But then he goes into detail about how Diddy would call her a bitch and a slut, which I just think is disgusting. And then the assistant, who's known as Mia, she testified how she was essayed by Diddy. This is Thursday of week 3, and she was close to Cassie. That Friday, Mia also had to share how she had to go to her grandmother's funeral, which does not make sense to me. You have to beg your employer to do anything. And this is outside of Diddy and all that stuff. But if you have to beg your employer to do something, it's a not good job. Suge actually got to talk about Diddy from the cage, like, which is insane. And that is insane that Suge talks about Diddy from the cage. And then also there was a rumor that Trump was looking into pardoning Diddy. No, absolutely not. No, no, no. We don't. That don't make sense. Absolutely not. And you could justify it all you want, Trump, but the answer is still no. The answer is still no. So that's just a jump around of the notes I got. I have week 4 notes, but it's still week 4 and there's still court going on. I do see this trial going to like the full 8 weeks. And I don't think Diddy will walk innocent. I'm sorry. We've heard too much. There's too much evidence. Diddy is not innocent in all this. So, we have 4 more weeks, y'all. So stick with us. Us is in everybody who's following this trial and does not have the sporadic notes that I have. Let's see. Next, Smokey Robinson is accused of sexual assault by maids and said his wife sat back and didn't do anything. Uh, I don't think this is real because Smokey Robinson just don't seem like the type. I mean, I don't know Smokey Robinson. I just know Smokey Robinson for what I see on TV, like this cool, chill dude who tells a lot of stories about Motown and has just a lot of memories and stuff of working with artists like Marvin Gaye and all that. And yeah, I think he's innocent because Smokey came back with a counter complaint for like $500 million. So you know that when somebody comes back with a counter complaint, they didn't do it. They didn't do it. And then for $500 million, yeah, that's a way to automatically shut them down. So Uncle Smokey Robinson didn't do it. He didn't do it. He did not do it. There are some new Bravo shows. So there's three of them. The first one is Real Housewives of Rhode Island. Then we got Real Housewives, Wife Swap, and we have the Valley Persian style. So Real Housewives of Rhode Island, I don't know nothing about Rhode Island, so I don't think I'll be checking them out. Real Housewives Wife Swap, I think that would be a hit with Bravo because we love Real Housewives. So we want to see how that for example, if Cynthia Bailey swapped households with, I don't know, Kim Richards or something. You know what I mean? We want to see how that will go. And then the Valley Persian style, that's nothing but a Shah's of Sunset spinoff. So in the show, there'll be Reza, Gigi, and MJ. Probably some new cast members as well. I know one of them moved to Nima. He moved to New York, so he doesn't want anything to do with it. And also, he posted on his story that a clown photo over a picture of Reza, so they probably fell out. What else? Mike is doing his own thing because, he got in trouble like a couple years ago for beating up his ex-fiance. And I can't wait to watch The Valley because I did really like Shah's of Sunset. I liked everybody on there. So we'll see what it's giving. We'll see what it's giving. Tom Girardi, speaking of Real Housewives, Tom Girardi, who is the estranged husband of Erica Jane, aka Erica Girardi, he is actually sentenced to 7 years in prison. Now, I don't know how that's going to work because wasn't he just diagnosed with Alzheimer's and he's like 85 years old? So couldn't the judge just like switch it up and just give him house arrest or something, have him serve in like a memory care? So that doesn't make sense. But if you guys forget what Tom did, he basically stole money from his clients and funded his lifestyle, and it was just a big old scammy mess. But he's sentenced to 7 years, and I just don't see how that's gonna work. I don't know, but we'll see. Coach Thibodeau from the New York Knicks. He's the head coach of the New York Knicks. I remember him from being the coach of the Chicago Bulls back when I was like a little kid. He got fired from the Knicks, which it also doesn't make sense to me because the Knicks just got swept in like the Eastern Conference Finals. But why would you fire your coach if they went to the Eastern Conference Final? Anything outside the first round of the NBA playoffs is like that's the standard. Well, not the standard, but that's good. It's good that you get past the first round. Because a lot of people don't make they don't make the cut before the first, or they don't make the cut before the first round of playoffs are up. Like, he got y'all to the freaking Eastern Conference Finals and then y'all fire him. That's like a slap in the face. I can't believe the Knicks did that. I don't know who they gonna hire to do that job. I know Meta World Peace wants to do that job, but I don't know. I don't think he's like he's emotionally good to take that job on, because coaching it's a lot, and I could just picture Meta World Peace just crashing out on anything when he's coaching. So, but that's still messed up how the Knicks did Coach Tibbs, man. You know, he gets you to like one of the highest tiers of the playoffs, and you fire him. That just does not make sense. Let's see. Sweet Tea. Speaking of Bravo, I did post like a question on my notes. Would a Real Housewives of Chicago work? Yes, but it will have to be very generalized because Chicago is, I live here, so I know for sure. Chicago is a big city, but a lot of the housewives that show wealth, like on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and Real Housewives in New York, Real Housewives in New Jersey, those housewives actually live in the suburbs. Not in the south suburbs either. Some of them might be in the south suburbs because you got like Orland Park and Burr Ridge. But like they live in the north suburbs like Glencoe, Northbrook. Those housewives live out there. So it wouldn't be really, it would be just labeled Real Housewives of Chicago for just like generalization, but they're all over the Chicagoland area, and not a lot of them live in the city. Like, because I don't know, maybe people get wealthy and they don't want to live in the city. It's too hectic for them. They want to relax and just enjoy their wealth, you know. So they live in the suburbs. So it would work just with generalization. Also, speaking of Bravo, Sweet Tea from Married to Medicine, who's Dr. G's wife, second wife, she is no longer on the show. And honestly, I think that is for the best. Like I said in a past podcast, having Sweet Tea on there and then Quad, no, having Sweet Tea do her bridal shower and then Quad coming, it was just weird. I don't care if it's for cameras and all that. It's weird. They weren't even friends. They're not friends. Why is she around? Why is she here? I know it's for the drama, but it's still just weird to have that for drama. So, yeah. Um, let's see. Joe Biden. I have a lot of Joe Biden news. Joe Biden, he says that he's not surprised that Trump won, and I really hate that he said that. But then again, I was listening to like a couple podcasts where they were saying like Kamala didn't stand a chance. I had high hopes for Kamala because everything she preached on her campaign, it made sense, you know. But you know, there were, I guess, since you know Joe Biden's has been a long term politician, like he kind of knows how the mind state of his colleagues and how they think about how women, and especially a black woman, can go far. And I hey, I I hate that he said that, but it's not surprising, right? Also, when it comes to Joe Biden, he was actually diagnosed with prostate cancer, stage 4 prostate cancer. So my thoughts go to him. I just want him to like kind of just chill out and be out of the limelight for a while. Let him, you know, get well. I mean, I don't know if stage 4 is like the highest level or the worst level, but I just feel terrible that he said that. But it is the truth. Like, you know, he knows like how dumb some people are in this country. And it clearly showed when we went to the polls where more people voted for Trump or did not vote at all. So, yeah. So I'll move on from that. I told y'all I don't really want to get into politics. It's like I don't want to offend anybody. I just don't know what I be saying most of the time, and I don't want to cause no argument. So that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. We also have a new pope. Now I'm not Catholic. I was practicing Catholic when I was a kid, but I had to give that up. But this new pope is actually American born. He was born in Chicago. So this pope actually hits home more. I don't know his name. Forgive me. I just call him Pope. He was born in Chicago. He was raised in the Southland, so he was raised in my territory. So he went to school in Dalton, which is right next door to my hometown. Now, Dalton in 2025 is the hood, but at one point, especially when the Pope was living there, it was a really nice place to live. But now it's just ran down and it don't have no money, mainly because they had a mayor, cough cough, Tiffany Henyard, who would use their funds for fraudulent things. So he went to school in Dalton. He also went to school in Glenwood. Now, no, he grew up in Dalton. His childhood home was in Dalton, and actually the city ended up buying the home to, I guess, preserve it, which is a great idea. He also went to school in Glenwood. Now, Glenwood is another Southland Chicago town. It's a really nice town. A lot of old people live out there, so it's very peaceful. He went to DePaul University. Now, I know a lot of people that went to DePaul University. Very good university, just very expensive. Super expensive. He's anti-Trump, which is a number one on my list. And he's also of Creole descent, which is mind-blowing, actually. So, yeah, I like this new pope. To me, he hasn't been really making a lot of noise, but then again, he just got into the situation. So, I'm going to give him a year to see how this will go. Probably, he's anti-Trump, so he'll probably be speaking out against anything Trump is doing. Suits LA is officially canceled. Good, because I didn't like Suits LA because it was just trying too hard to be freaking Suits New York. I didn't like it. Like, again, like I said before, you can find the connection on who's trying to be Harvey, who's trying to be Mike, who's trying to be Rachel, or no, not Rachel. What's her name? Mike Ross's husband. And I think Meghan Markle's real name is actually Rachel. So, yeah. Or is her character's name Rachel? I read somewhere that her name was Rachel. Let me get my phone. Let me see. Let's see, Meghan Markle. Okay. Who does she play on Suits? Suits. Okay, yeah. All right. So her real name is Megan, but her character's name is Rachel. I should have known that. I was been watching. See, my mind is just all over the place. But yeah. So who was trying to be Mike? Who was trying to be Rachel? Who was trying to be this person? Who's trying? It was basically just who's trying to be who from New York and LA, and I didn't like it. The ratings weren't that great, but luckily Peacock, they allowed them to finish the season. So just like Pearson, the other spinoff, it'll still be on Peacock to watch, but it ain't getting renewed. It's not getting renewed. That's all. Michael Jordan signs on to be a special contributor on NBC Sports. I'm not a big crazy fan of Michael Jordan, and I can't say that I'm nervous or excited. I want to see how this goes because Michael Jordan, I've never seen him in front of a camera on with a mic in his hand. I don't know how this will go. Will he have the proper training to do this? Because that's what a lot of NBA players do. They get like a NBA analyst job after retirement. I don't know why Michael Jordan want to do this, and he got enough money with Air Jordans and all that stuff. But I just can't wait to see this. He'll probably be really good. Probably, because I've seen him do like interviews and like videos and stuff. He kind of did okay with those. So, but him holding a microphone talking about sports, I want to see how this goes. Beyond the Gates gets renewed for a second season, which I'm very happy about. This is my first like soap opera that I've really gotten into. Like when I was a kid, my grandmother used to watch them, and I'm like, what's the big deal about soap operas? And then, us as little kids, me and my brother and my cousin would be in the background playing and being loud, and we get shushed because the stories is on. Now that I watch Beyond the Gates, I understand why she was like irritated when we make noise. We want to know what's going on. We got to make the connections, the dots for the characters and stuff. But this is good. It's renewed for season 2. I'm learning the format of how soap operas do. So right now they're on season 1, episode like 64 or something. So I don't know. I guess they'll just jump right into season 2, like after a 2-week break or something. And I did start like a prediction chart with them. Because it's so long out and I don't know when season 2 starts, I will definitely fill in the chart and probably do like a predictions and conclusion video based off the information that I learned at the point of the series that I am. Let's see. I kind of don't want to talk about that. Dick's Sporting Goods is buying Foot Locker. I am not surprised, but I want to see how this goes. Like, are they going to put, like, the Air Jordans next to the Stanley Cups? But no, I think this will be a good move because if you guys have ever been to like a Dick's Sporting Goods, y'all see how big a Dick's Sporting Goods is, and it doesn't matter if it's a standalone store or a or like a in the mall, they're still big. And it's big enough to have like two sides. So one side is the Dick's Sporting Goods where you get your stuff for hiking and the Stanley Cups and all that stuff. And the other side could just be a Foot Locker where they got all the shoes and the jerseys and all that stuff. I think, you know what Dick's Sporting Goods should do in honor of nostalgia? So in my hometown, the mall that was in my hometown was back in the day the bee's knees. Okay, they had World Foot Locker, right? And World Foot Locker was huge with all the Jordans, had all the jerseys. You know, it was a really cool store. It looked so futuristic, like on some 2000 stuff. They should really do that with Dick's Sporting Goods just to make them stand out and say, hey, Foot Locker is still here. Foot Locker is still here to stay. We just need a partnership. That's just my opinion. Chris Brown was arrested and he was arrested and locked up overseas, but he got out. He ended up paying a bond of like millions of dollars. Everybody was so scared when he went to jail, but he's out and he has a tour, so he's gonna be fine. Don't y'all worry. Let's see. Got a few more stories here because I had a long list from like a long time ago. Shout outs to Travis Hunter and Rihanna. They finally got married. And I just don't understand the hatred for them because they're saying, oh, that girl married him for money and blah, 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 blah. I don't know if y'all are actual Travis Hunter fans like I am. I follow their YouTube and stuff. You know, you would know if you follow them for a long time that Travis and Rihanna are actually high school sweethearts. And she was with him when he was playing in high school for nothing, for free. So no, she's not gold digging. And I really get annoyed when people be saying that she's a gold digger, she's a gold digger. They've been together since he was in high school, lady. Please calm down. Let's see what else. YG got a new song called Hollywood out. And he dissed Diddy in it. And I thought it was hilarious. That's my jam, too. That's like one of my favorite songs now. When I be scrolling through like TikTok, it comes up on my feed like 3 times a day. It's just such an awesome song. And I hope YG gets like nominated for a Grammy or something. And the video, y'all, the choreography is so clean. It's so clean. Like it's gang dances, but it's so clean. And then also, I watched the video for like the 5th time. Like the first day I've known about it. I was like, is that Ty Dolla $ign? That looks like Ty Dolla $ign. Ty Dolla $ign? It was Ty Dolla $ign, so he probably produced it because he was behind the like beat machine or whatever. But yeah, that's my jam. I just want to let y'all know that. Let's see. The Chrisleys. So when I got the news, the first piece of news about the Chrisleys I got was that they're getting a new show on Lifetime. They're gonna follow Savannah and Chase and Grayson around. It was gonna be like a docu series of them being without, their parents. So then a couple days after I wrote down about how they're getting a new show, I started to see posts about Trump and how he was looking to pardon them. And I was like, those are just rumors. Those are just rumors, blah, blah, blah. But Trump went on a freaking pardoning spree or whatever. So he actually pardoned Todd and Julie. They were separated, and obviously in separate prisons. So I think Todd was in Florida and Julie was like in Kentucky somewhere. But they got pardoned. And then boom, they were out and they're back home living with Savannah and their granddaughter their daughter because they adopted her. And now they're back home. Another one they pardoned was NBA Youngboy, the one that moved to Utah and lives with the Mormons and all that stuff and makes weird music. He got pardoned. And then he pardoned Larry Hoover. And then everybody in Chicago was just like so excited that he pardoned Larry Hoover. but I hate to be a bubble buster, but Larry Hoover has like 200 years to go from state charges. So his federal charges got pardoned, but his state charges still stand. Unless, JB Pritzker does something to make them magically disappear, but he'll still be in prison, but I heard that they'll probably move him to like an Illinois state prison. So, yeah. Let's see what else. Elon, I know I said I wouldn't talk about Trump, but this was a shock to me that Elon is leaving the Trump administration. Basically, the girls are fighting. And, Elon don't like Trump no more. He even put out a tweet dissing him. So, it's done for. It's falling apart. If Elon, who I thought was like BFFs with Trump, is like turning his back, like it's done for. This reminds me of when like somebody falls out with somebody on like Baddies or some reality TV show. This is what it's like for me. I just I see it that way. I'm sorry. Let's see what else. Vanessa Bryant, y'all accusing Vanessa Bryant of being pregnant, and y'all ain't right for that. I think Vanessa's got to be in her mid-40s, and I don't want to be like a a-hole and say this, but maybe she's done having kids biologically, if you guys know where I'm going with this, and, her body changes. We just don't know, but she's not pregnant. She said it herself. Her plans this summer is to live free, have fun, not pregnant. Or she said not pregnant, and her plans was to live free and have fun. So she's probably menopausal. Like, we don't know. Like, why y'all sit here and just accuse this lady? She's living her life, and she's doing a wonderful job preserving her late husband's legacy. So leave her alone. Leave her alone. Let's see what else. Chicago Bears is moving their stadium to Arlington Heights. I love Arlington Heights. I spend a lot of time out there. But I honestly just don't see where it will go. Arlington Heights is like dead smack in the middle of the north suburbs. It's not near the water like the current stadium is downtown. Arlington Heights is a small town, but it's a really nice town. Like, their downtown area is so cute. One of my favorite restaurants is in that area. It's called Salsa 17. The best tamales and the best chips and dip ever. Hello. But I really can't see how this Bears stadium is going to work in Arlington Heights. And then when people go to Bears games, are they going to drive there? Is it going to be hectic like it is when they go to a Bears game downtown? Like, I want to know all that stuff. But it'll also probably help with the economy of Arlington Heights. Like, they need help because they got every freaking thing. And also, they're like 10 minutes away from Woodfield and Schaumburg area, which is another bustling area. Schaumburg has Woodfield Mall. They have like really great dining, shopping. It's really expensive to live there. Closer to shopping, there's like a lot of apartments. There's hotels. IKEA is out there. So I just want to see how this will go. Let's see. Klarna is going broke. Well, they're not going broke, but it was revealed that it had like $100 million in debt because people aren't paying them. Unbelievable. There's this one thing that helps people pay for stuff, and then people take advantage of it, which I think is just sad. It's just sad. Shout out to Jamal Roberts. He won American Idol. Now, I'm not an American Idol fan. I only want to shout him out because he's from Meridian, Mississippi, and that is actually the hometown of my grandmother. My grandmother was born there, but she moved to Chicago when she was like 4. She was raised here in Chicago, but she was born there, and a lot of my family still live in Meridian, and they're just so proud of him. So congratulations to Jamal Roberts. And that is the end of another episode of Thompson and Stuff. So again, y'all, I'm using my voice sound recorder on my computer. Let me know how it's working. I think it worked really good. I'm watching it just record my voice, and I don't have to go through like freaking Riverside. So hit me up on social media. Again, all your favorite episodes are on YouTube. Also, I also changed the artwork to Thompson and Stuff, as well as Mandy's Entertainment Reviews. I just probably got tired of people saying, "Who's this woman? What? This is AI." It's something simple and easy, but it's still same on me. And thank y'all for listening, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.